common statement. At this point, President Anastasiadis, the President of the Republic of Cyprus, seems to stop the procedures. Do you believe that is it right to stop this procedure right now with the negotiations?
I have always been for negotiations, and two or three moments of the last 30 years, I have thought that there could be an opportunity for a settlement. If there was an opportunity, the opportunity was missed in every one of those cases. And currently, I believe also that there is perhaps an opportunity. And I very much hope that my friends who are with great responsibility, and I have been for many years a close friend of nowadays President of Cyprus. He was, as a young parliamentarian, which he is no longer, but as a young parliamentarian, I used to be together with him in the World Interparliamentary Union, where I was the president, and he was coming with different senior leaders, and it was, for me, I have great appreciation for Mr. Anastasiadis, and I hope, I know that he wants to find, to make the step to find a solution, and I happen to be a friend of the person who deals with international relations in the Turkish Cypriot community. They call him Minister of Foreign Affairs. I prefer to use, but it is a man whom I trust. I have known him for a number of years. He's a member of the same political family as I am myself, and I trust that he also wants to try hard.
We speak about?
Sorry?
We speak about Mr.
It is. Take. You will see who is the responsible for foreign affairs in the Turkish Cypriot administration. I believe that there is an opportunity. Now, honestly speaking, I hope that they will dare taking the opportunity, because you see, there is one thing that I am always worried about the Cypriot situation, and it is that at a certain moment everybody seems to get accustomed and think, well, it is not so bad. I mean, besides great statements and declarations and this and that, but you know, when I go to Cyprus and I meet a number of politicians who are my friends for many, you know, what I see, especially in younger ones who have never known a different Cyprus and the Cyprus of today, what I find is that they accommodate to the current situation. Probably it is the natural thing. I mean what the body asks is for accommodating. So you say, okay, let us accommodate. Okay, we are against and we want to find a solution. But as a matter of fact, nobody seems, or at least none from those friends that I'm thinking about, seems to be ready to a certain sacrifice, because negotiating and finding a solution is something that demands some kind of concessions in one way or another. You cannot find a solution in a conflict with somebody else without making some concession.
So two sides are not ready, let's say, for a solution yet?
Not ready, but you see, nobody would accept to say, I'm not ready. Everybody should be ready. But the question is that the current situation is not disturbing very much any one of those I talk to. You see, some of the people tell me, when as you have told me, I am a refugee from that area. This is not a majority. Most people in Cyprus today are not a refugee from the north. Either they were always in the south, or they are already born in the south, even if their relatives came from the north. So you see, what I find is that most of the people seem to accommodate. Okay, of course, there is a background, there is a history, there is something, but we are surviving. And you come to a moment in which the economic crisis is much more a priority than the reunification of the country.
We are listening to statements like, and I will come
Yes,
soon
please.
to the economic crisis. We are listening to, first of all, you believe that Turkey really wants to get in the European Union? You believe that Turkey really wants to?
You see, one of my jobs here is the relations with Turkey, which you may not know. I have 4 different jobs here as Vice President of the Parliament, and one of them is the relation with the candidate countries.
So you conversate with Mr. Bayis?
I am daily in relations with the Turkish parliamentarians, basically, which are my partners. My partners, and many of them my friends. You see, there has been a very obvious for me evolution in the last 30 years. Okay. 20 years ago, whenever I spoke to anybody in Turkey, with anybody relevant, politicians, business people, political leaders, trade union leaders, everybody was telling me that entering the European Union was absolutely indispensable. They had no other vision than the one of entering the European Union. You know, I could understand that very well because that had been my position as a Spaniard for a number of years. We could not imagine any other, and we didn't want to imagine any other alternative. You see, the negotiation process with Turkey has been a very slow and a very boring process, and a very unclear process on do we really want or do we not want. I mean, it's very difficult to negotiate with somebody if you are negotiating for him to come and sit in this chair, but he feels that you do not want him to come. If you do not want, don't negotiate. Now, the problem is that we have come to a situation now where I find more and more people in Turkey who do not regard their belonging to the European Union as indispensable to their prosperity and to their development. They are becoming a genuine superpower, regional superpower. To put it in a more clear way, I believe that the European Union needs Turkey more than Turkey needs the European Union.
And Turkey knows that.
And Turkey knows.
And use some.
No, but no. And Turkey you see. I was to explain to you something which I am not. You see, I am a good friend of Cyprus, and there is one thing I am convinced. Cyprus does not need fans. Cyprus needs friends. And the best Cyprus can have is a genuine friend who is not ashamed to say, I am a friend of Turkey. And this is my condition. This is my condition. I understand that it's very easy to come and say, no, down. No, I think being a friend, because what is true is that I say the same things in Nicosia as I say in Istanbul or in Ankara. So you see, the question is that the Turkey has not felt well treated here. And Turkey is a great country. I mean, it's a great country. It's a country with a great history, with a great background. And it is a people who are aware, more and more aware of their own identity. And they do not like to be treated. You see, in the last, you know that the Turkish parliament comes here to a committee with the European Parliament twice a year. And I was presiding the solemn lunch that we have with them. And the secretariat had prepared a paper to me. And then the paper said, well, this is the 50th meeting that we have. For 20 years we have been, and when I see the paper, I started reading it and say, excuse me, but I cannot read that. I say, look, in Spain, we have a very significant tradition. Before getting married, we are fiancés. And we may be fiancés for 2 years. My mother was fiancée for 4 years. But I don't know about any case of anybody who has been fiancé for 20 years. Mm-hmm. Because after 20 years, you know if you want to marry or if you don't want to marry.
Mm-hmm. So there is not a revolution. There is not a revolution.
Oh, you know, there is a routine that has become a routine in which we go on talking and we go on and we go on. And as a matter of fact, there is, of course, there is an evolution because this chapter is chapter 32 and chapter 16 has been opened, chapter has been closed. But you see, but at the end of the day, it is as if you would be no, you can go on a bicycle and you can be a whole day on a bicycle and then you realize that it is a bicycle that has no wheels, that it is a bicycle that you have for your own fitness. And I believe that this is, I believe myself that this is a tragedy. I am one of those Europeans who believes that Europe needs Turkey inside the European Union. I will tell you why. The problem is that there is a big difference here in the Europeans between what I call democratic Europeans, between those who want to build a democratic Europe, and those who believe that what we have to build is a Christian Europe. Exactly. And for me, as I don't recognize myself as a Christian myself, I'm not more a Christian than any other thing. You see, I'm a citizen. I am a Democrat, and my religious or non-religious conscience is not something that interferes.
Public matter.
But you see, it is obvious that there are a number of people, usually very reactionary forces, who believe that Turkey has no room in Europe because it is not a Christian country, because it is a Muslim country, and they believe that being Muslim excludes being Democrat, which is very, very, very strange on people who call themselves Christian Democrats, who have been ruling European countries for 40 years, and whose ideology has also a theocratic basis, and who have been voting laws based on their religious faith and not on concepts that are political or political concepts. So in any case, what I say is that the relation with Turkey by the European Union, in my opinion, is not making progress. Mm-hmm. And you see, this is again like going on a bicycle. If you stop, then you fall down. So my hope is that the conflict or of Cyprus will be solved, mm-hmm. and that will become that might become a pushing for Turkey to make progress and join the European Union. Now, this is what would be my ideal thing. Would be Cyprus reunified, Cyprus as a democratic state, mm-hmm. where the two communities live together in a civilized way, and then having Turkey as a significant member. And you see, I tell you that as a proud holder of the Makarios cross, which I am proud to have it, but not only proud, committed, mm-hmm. Committed to honor the confidence and the trust that my Cypriot friends gave me when they were giving me the Makarios cross.
I understand the way you're thinking, and I want to go one step further. We have a problem here, the Cyprus problem. I'm not going to speak about invasion. I'm not going to speak about the why we are here now. But Cyprus is a member of the European Union, and Turkey wants to get into the European Union. And you told me that European Union needs more economic, I guess.
Economically and more geostrategically,
And strategically and natural gas, and we'll speak later about that. But when you listen to Mr. Davutoglu, Mr. Bagis speaks about and says that there is no such country named Cyprus, and Cyprus is a piece of you. It's a piece of European Union. You don't feel like shamed that Turkey, a great and big country like Turkey that wants to get into the European Union, not recognize a piece of European Union?
Yeah, but that is why we talk very clearly. Or I talk very clearly to Turkey. They know that they will not join before they recognize that Cyprus is one, and that Cyprus is a state of the European Union. They will not. They know that they will not make progress.
Why they do those statements?
Sorry,
Why they do those statements?
because this is what they think about. This is what they
Even
think.
if they know that they are never going to join the European Union.
Yes. This is what, but they think. They think that, you see, they in the same way. But you know, we have.
So we have the bicycle without.
This is not the only. This is not the only case. You know, there are people. In Europe there are people who have different positions. You know, we have in Spain territories where there are a lot of people who say that they do not belong to Spain and that they want to be another country. And this is something that we accept even if we disagree very much. So, I mean, you see, I think in any case one should, in this respect, what one should be is very clear. What one cannot do is tell Turkey, you are going to join even if you don't recognize a member state in its integrity. We have to be very, very clear. You see, you are not going to join.
Take it or leave it.
If you don't,
Is it take it or leave it?
yeah, if you don't. No, the problem is that we are not saying that.
We have to say European
No,
Union.
no. The problem is if we would say take it or leave it, they would take it next day.
So why we don't do that?
What?
Why we don't do that?
Because the problem is that the majority of the current Europeans do not want Turkey to join.
So it's not the problem is not Cyprus. Turkey knows that European Union.
Cyprus is a part of the problem. You know, you have a big door, you have 5 keys, and one of the small keys is Cyprus. But you have said it very clearly. That's why my opinion is that if we would tell Turkey, solve the issue of Cyprus, and you join next September, we would have the problem solved in 10 hours.
With any cost for Turkey? With any cost?
With of course, with any cost. There is no cost. I mean, in saying of course, we'll say what you could not tell them is you take 50,000 people back. Yes. Of course not.
You cannot tell them.
Huh? No, you could. But the question is that the Turks know that solving the problem of Cyprus is not what opens them the way to the European Union, and they are right to know that because I mean it is obvious that there are other problems.
And at this point gets the matter of natural gas and the strategy, I believe. How you consider that? How you think that will help Turkey or Cyprus, the natural wealth in Cyprus?
You see, what the first thing that we should have done and that we have not done, or I shouldn't say we, but the first thing we should have done is to treat Cyprus in a better way than we have treated Cyprus, especially on the issue of the crisis. I think, you know, I don't believe that we have treated Cyprus as well as we should have, in the same way as I believe the Union has not treated a number of other countries. We have not treated Greece, which is much bigger than Cyprus. I think we have treated Greece in such a way that practically it's very difficult to find in Greece anybody who is sympathetic to the European Union. You see, I remember very well, I was at the Congress of the German Social Democrats, and I had a meeting there, a long meeting, we were 10 or 12 people, with Helmut Schmidt, the former leader of the Social Democrats and former Chancellor of Germany. And he told us the economy of Greece is smaller than the economy of most of the provinces of Germany. And the economy of Greece was the same this day and this day. But suddenly, this day, the economy of Greece was no longer acceptable. The day before, it had been acceptable. And for months, and for years, it had been acceptable. Then suddenly, it was no longer acceptable.
Let's say Cyprus now have an economic problem, and it's so small for European Union as, let's say, economic problem of Cyprus, you believe that it showed up now on purpose? Because it's very small.
You know, what I know is that the European Union is a construction that was very successful because it was based on solidarity. Mm-hmm. And solidarity means also understanding. And it means not creating more problems to some of the countries, not more problems that they have already.
That makes me more suspicious.
No, it means that we should have dealt with the Cyprus problem, calling the Cypriots and saying, look, what can we do? What are the solutions? These are the problems. How can you improve? Instead of calling and threatening, really. No, but this is how the European Union has evolved in the last years. It has evolved from a solidarian construction to a non-solidarian construction.
So Eurogroup make the decision that it's against Cyprus.
No, it is not against Cyprus. It is a non-solidarian country.
So
the
it's
problem,
something not.
It has not
for the ethical.
No, it has not. It has not reacted, trying to rescue Cyprus when there were a number of problems, in the way a solidarian body would have reacted. Cyprus or Spain, or Greece or Ireland.
You believe that President Anastasiadis control that issue? About the haircut and bail-in in a right way. They told him that he has to do that with the banks and do the bail-in and the haircut and the bail-in. You believe, and President Anastasiadis said that I hadn't another choice. That was taken.
I believe, of course, generally speaking, I don't accept to say there is no other choice. I don't accept that.
But do something else.
I don't accept that there is no other choice. But first of all, I respect very much President Anastasiadis.
We speak about his choice.
No. I believe that he did not. You see, it's very easy for me to say there are always different choices. Because somebody could tell me, what was the choice? I say, no, it's not my job. Anastasiadis obviously didn't see any other alternative. He didn't see any alternative.
It's the right way for a leader to.
The right way for a leader is to be honest. And if you see no alternative, the right way is to choose the alternative that you see. So you see, no. If you have another alternative, if you see honestly another alternative, then your responsibility will say to it. But if you do not see any other alternative, then I think it has to be recognized. And nobody came. I didn't hear anybody coming and say, "This is the other alternative."
Only words.
No, nobody. I didn't hear anybody saying, "This is the other alternative."
Back to pound. Back to our.
No, I didn't hear either in Cyprus or outside. I hear a lot of demonstrators. But you see, the alternatives of painting in the walls, that is not an alternative. That is not an alternative for somebody who wants to rule a country. And honestly speaking, I didn't see any other alternative myself. But I didn't look either. You see, it is not my job to look for alternatives. And if Anastasiadis tells me I do not see any other alternative, I do not think I am allowed to tell him, yes, do this, do that. You know, this is something that has been too often done in Europe, that people come and tell the other what to do.
The leadership of the European Parliament will support again in the future such solutions like the solution of Cyprus, economic haircut and bail-in.
You see, I don't know what. First of all, I don't know what you mean by the leadership of the European Parliament. I mean, the leadership of the European Parliament normally executes what the European Parliament decides. And the European Parliament has, the Socialist Group of the European Parliament has been very critical to the austerity to the austerity policies which have been decided by the Council, basically, because the Council, the European Council, is the body where you have all the governments. Now, the majority of the governments are conservative governments, and the policies that they have been producing in their own countries and that they are advising for others is these policies of austerity, which have not solved the problem, but rather have created more problems, especially much bigger social problems. Now, besides that, you see, especially on the, I come back to what you said, in the situation in which Cyprus was, and in the situation in which President Anastasiadis was, I think when he said, I see no other alternative, he was honest and he was courageous to accept, because he was very tough also. He didn't say, I see no other alternative. He was very, very tough, more tough than any other European leader to what the Troika was proposing and was deciding. Now, he could be very tough in criticizing this alternative, but also he could say, I see no other alternative.
Cyprus was the mouse of Europe.
No, I have heard that very much.
Yeah,
I heard that also from Anastasiadis. This has been a kind of experiment to see. Frankly speaking, nothing is an experiment, and everything is a precedent that you can learn out. Yes. Frankly speaking, I think Cyprus, but what was very surprising to me is that the first decisions that were taken about Cyprus, they had to come back because they realized that it was nonsense. I mean, you see, a body like the Troika should not afford saying today, this is the solution, and then 5 days later saying, well, this is not the solution, this is going to be a bit different.
You know, what makes people suspicious, and not only people, and leaders? We speak about 10 billion.
We speak about
10 billion euros.
Yes.
The Cyprus economic problem, which is nothing for Europe. Why they don't do something to save that little island in the Mediterranean Sea?
Yeah, you see.
They do all that thing.
No. I will be very frank in that. You see, this is exactly what we were speaking with Helmut Schmidt about Greece. He said the amounts that we are talking about are amounts which obviously, he said, even a province in Germany could afford. Why didn't we? I think here one has to be sincere enough. It's not only, it is more than that. You see, it is also that Cypriots and Greeks and Spaniards had not been aware also, for instance, that one has to pay taxes. So, you know, in Cyprus, those who pay taxes are people who are wage earners. But those who make big business do not pay taxes. It is not true. The Greeks, none of the Greeks multimillionaires pays taxes. So you see, and this is something that one should have told them clearly. You see, we cannot afford. But then the whole thing is a complicated issue, you see, because, for instance, we had a debate here. Out of the main 20 firms in Portugal, 20 biggest firms in Portugal, 17 do not pay taxes in Portugal. And I say, oh, what a shame. But out of those 17, 15 pay the taxes in the Netherlands, which is behaving as a tax heaven. So you know, it is very difficult to come and tell the Portuguese, no, you have to pay the taxes. You say, but we are paying the taxes in the European Union territory. And something similar could be, it is true that one should have come to Greece, one should have come to Spain, which is a similar situation. One should have come to Cyprus and said, look, there are this and this and this has to be done otherwise. That cannot be like that. One has to fulfill certain obligations, and you cannot. And this is one thing to say, and say, how are we going to launch measures in order to save all that. Now, this is one way to do, and another way to do is to come and say, from tomorrow on you will do this and that. That is why I think there are reasons for people to be unhappy and to be irritated and to be skeptical. You say you have used the word. What did you say? They're suspicious. Suspicious. What is suspicious? Suspicious.
I will tell you. I will ask you. Let's see, like directly.
Suspicious.
You believe that everything that in Cyprus happened has to do with natural gas?
Had to be?
Has to do with natural gas.
With natural?
Gas.
With gas, you mean?
I mean, natural gas, the natural wealth of Cyprus we found in Cyprus.
You know, we are living in a kind of globalized society in which nothing that happens to Cyprus does not depend on German banks, on Russian banks, on people who invest in Cyprus, because in Cyprus they don't pay taxes, while in Russia they would have to pay taxes. So everything is absolutely linked. But the question is that one has to know what the rules are. And especially the main thing of all we have been speaking here is the European Union still a net of solidarity where the most powerful help the less powerful? Because this is a win-win operation. And when I say the most powerful help the least powerful, this does not mean the biggest or the smallest, because the most powerful is Luxembourg, of all. You see, so it's not, but where those who have no problems try to help those who have problems. And of course, helping those who have problems is also telling them this does not work like that. This has to be done in this way or another. But to operate for us in Spain, the European Union was wonderful because it was a solidarian mechanism. It was a solidarian mechanism. So that's why we have benefited enormously from the European Union. Now you see, we are the country that has received more money than all the others together. But you see, from each one that gave €1 to us, became 10 euros out of that euro that they had given us. Because this is not an operation. This is, because there were in Spain perhaps 5,000 Mercedes, and now there are 500,000 Mercedes. The progress that those who have helped us have contributed very much to an enormous progress of my country. But this enormous progress of this country has meant also consuming and learning and participating, and indeed paying back in one way or another what we were receiving in the other way around. So as I say, the question is that why suddenly some of these players, some believed suddenly that this mechanism, which had been a win-win mechanism, was no longer paying for them. And then they stopped. And they came with what is called austerity and this and that, which has not solved any problem, and which they are considering again how to come out of that. But this is in any case something that has been very hard for countries like Cyprus. And what I hope is that the people of Cyprus understand also that there is no alternative outside the European Union. Yeah, I think this is what is relevant. What is relevant is not so much to say there was no alternative to that one. There is no alternative outside the European Union. I mean, Cyprus, if Cyprus would leave the European Union, I don't say that it would sink. I don't say that, but it might have the choice to become a colony of Russia, which I don't believe would be a much better solution.
I realize that your program is very.
Yes, now we. No, I have to leave now.
Okay, something like a message for the Cyprus problem. The last thing I'm asking. Davutoglu Bagis, President Anastasiadis, Turkish Cypriot side. How you see the things anytime soon?
You see, the problem is that I am too old. I am too old not to be lucid, and too old to cheat myself or to cheat anybody else. I do not see a solution for the Cyprus conflict at a very short term. I do not see. I do not see because when I talk to my friends in Cyprus, as I have told you in the beginning, the feeling I have is that many people, too many people, have accommodated to the current reality, to the current reality. And the current reality is the reality in which most of the population has always lived. It is a reality through which there has been considerable progress and prosperity for most of the people. And then the whole, what becomes a bit rhetoric is, yes, but you see, many thousands of Turkish Cypriots have had to leave to America. And, I do not see really, for many of my Cypriot friends, when I talk to them, I mean normal people.
Bayis and Davutoglu?
Sorry?
Bayis and Davutoglu?
By what?
Bayis and Davutoglu, Ahmed Davutoglu, they want to.
I don't speak to them. I mean, the people I meet, when I have been in Cyprus, those I talk to, when they talk to me in a rhetoric way, of course, the conflict is a priority. When I speak to the people, when I speak to a fellow in a coffee house, when I speak to a medical doctor, when I speak, you see, the reunification of the state does not appear as a vital priority. Of course, it is everybody would say they want that. You see, this is why, for instance, I am working myself very strongly on the Famagusta issue. Because those who are dealing with the Famagusta issue are concerned, really concerned about a precise matter, which is, in my opinion, a big scandal and a big shame. I mean, I feel outraged by the situation in Famagusta, frankly speaking. And whenever I talk to Turks or to North Cypriot Turks, I always put Famagusta and say, how the hell are we able to solve that? Even that, how? No, we have to wait for the whole thing. Come on, try to solve that in order to have that as an impulse to the rest. No, okay, I always talk that. But what I tell you is quite sincerely, whenever I talk to a normal Cypriot citizen, not to a politician who is here. There are many Cypriots here, no? Who are my friends and who are my colleagues. But whenever I talk in Cyprus to any Cypriot citizen, the impression that he gives me, that may be right or wrong, but the impression that I get is that they live quite accommodated with the current reality. And I have seen Cypriots 1 million times more worried and concerned because of the Troika than they have been concerned because of the division of the island. Now, I may be wrong in this appreciation, but we have to work through our appreciations. And in any case, whatever happens, I shall remain available. And I am proud to be a friend of Lysaridis, very good friend, to be a friend of Anastasiadis, to be a friend of Alexis Galanos, whom I meet every second or third month here, and to have been a friend of Kleridis and to have been a friend of Vasiliou. See, all of them I have known. And as I told you, I am proud to be decorated by them. By the way, I was decorated when the president was not close to my political family, but rather when he belonged to another political family, which is always more secure in what has to do with getting the prize. When you get the prize from your own family, it doesn't look so good. Huh?